Hello everyone, Otax here, and I'm back again with another episode of this Rags to Riches gold making challenge thingy that I'm doing. I just want to start by thanking everyone for the previous video response. It got quite a lot of views, considering it's only my third upload on the channel, and a few likes as well, so it's good to see. If anyone has any kind of suggestions or anything they want to see, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely try and get to that. But without further ado, let's get on to the main point of this video. So in the previous video we kind of just looked at the initial leveling, kind of overview of what the series is going to be. We talked about a couple things like being optimized with your kind of quest rewards and what you're doing early levels just to make a little bit of gold, and we made a fair little bit. In this one, however, we were going to look at the difference between dungeon queuing and PvP queuing while leveling, see if there's any gold to be made there, and how efficient they are. And something we'll probably come back to as we go through the levels, because obviously each PvP bracket and dungeons have their own kind of their own little level range, so the results may vary as we level up. But this is just for the 15 to kind of 20 range, because that's when you unlock dungeon queue, and that's when I did PvP as well. So the first thing I wanted to point out when it comes to dungeon queue is to keep an eye out for that call to arms bonus. I think that's what it's called, call to arms. It's when not enough of a certain role is queuing up. So normally it's a healer or a tank isn't queuing up enough, so what they do is incentivize you to queue up as a tank or a healer, and you get bonus rewards at the end of it. And this can, I think it scales with your level, but this can contain quite a bit of gold in it, so I'd always recommend people to keep an eye on that, and as long as you feel comfortable fulfilling that role, then you should definitely do it, because as you've seen before, we're leveling a druid, so we can heal, tank and DPS, and I feel fairly comfortable, at least in a dungeon kind of environment, to do all those three. So that's what I did, and queued up for it and got a queue within seconds. That's kind of to be expected, really. I ended up being a tank, bear tank in Ragefire Chasm, so we got quite a quick queue time, and on top of that it was a random dungeon, so we get the bonus loot for that, and that means you also get, I think you get a gold reward, and you also get a bag which has an item in it, so you're guaranteed to get at least one bit of loot from the dungeon from that. And yeah, so we flew through the dungeon pretty quickly. I got quite a good group. Once again, this is another factor to include. Sometimes you can get a group which takes a long time. Other times you get a group full of heirloom people who just want to run through it as fast as possible. And that's kind of what I got in this one. So we flew through it quite quickly. The quests gave us a nice bit of XP, and we also found a transport item. This is something I'm probably going to cover in more detail in another episode, when we might have a few more. But these are kind of the slow sales, but can be worth quite a bit of gold, so quite happy to find that. Hopefully we'll get that sold at some point. But overall, it was quite a quick dungeon. I've got on screen, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, I've got on screen how much gold was made in that one dungeon. And I'm going to use that just so I can have an average. Obviously, the amount of quests you do, the amount of how long the dungeon is, the amount of bosses there are is going to factor into that, but I was pretty happy with how quick it was. Obviously the quest for a one-time thing as well, but I was still quite happy with the kind of rate of speed we did it. So the next thing we did was then I decided to queue up for a PvP, and I was level 19, so I thought this was a good time to do it. Before I enter the next bracket, I would like to see how quick it was to get in the 10 to 19 bracket. And I waited and waited and waited, and 40 minutes later I finally got a queue popped for an Eye of the Storm match. I was a healer. That's the other thing as well, I queued up as a healer, tank and DPS again, thinking this might, make it quite quick. I don't know how the algorithm works with BGs, but I'm pretty sure they always have at least a healer or two. I was the only healer in this game, and it was also my first time healing in PvP. I mean, obviously it's only a 10 to 19 BG, so it doesn't really matter. But 40 minutes already for a queue, in that time I probably could have done at least 2 dungeons, maybe 3, depending on the group. Already it's not looking good in terms of how worth it is for gold. However, we did the PG. It took quite a while. It was quite a close match. It was really fun, to be fair. And I will say that one PvP match was a lot more fun than probably spamming 3 dungeons that I've done a million times. So I will give props there in the fun category. But in terms of actual efficiency, we got a couple levels from it. Once again, if it wasn't for the 40-minute queue, I'd consider it to be a bit better. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I wasn't playing at optimal time. I don't know how it all kind of works, but it took 40 minutes to get a queue. It was then another 15 to 20 minutes in the game. Other than the item in the box we got for winning, we didn't get anything. There was no gold bonus, there was no kind of reward. It was just that one item we got, which we ended up using as an upgrade, but it didn't sell for very much. So in a grand total of about an hour of waiting, we ended up with kind of 10 silver. So in this kind of bracket, I'd say if you are wondering if is it more efficient to do BGs or dungeon queuing, I would recommend dungeon queuing. To be honest, I think the optimal would still be questing at this stage, but if you're not wanting to quest, you just want to sit in and, your capital city and spam dungeons or PvP, then I'd recommend dungeons. Just because of the bonuses you can get through either the call to arms or just the random queue bonus. And on top of that, you can find lots of transmog items, which, like I said, I'll cover later on in more detail, but they are something that could bring in a lot of money if you're lucky. On top of that as well, indeed, some of the dungeons you can pick herbs and mine ore, and yeah, you got chests and whatnot. So I think it's not exactly a big mystery or a big reveal, but dungeons are probably the better way to go. But I will come back and revisit it, because who knows, if queue times for PvP go up, and including how much fun it is and how many levels you get from it, it might be more worth to do that if you're just looking to get through things quicker. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's the kind of verdict on that front. On top of this, we did a bit of questing. That was to get us to level 15, and we also did a few little other quests here and there, and we went back and put some things on the resale onto the auction house to see what we could make. We got a few more sales. While waiting for the queue, a lot of my herbs and a few of my leather things sold, and some cloth. So I should have around 50 gold incoming, and on screen I'll have kind of the end value like I did last time. I'll try and work that out. I understand that at the start it looks a bit kind of scuffed, but as the series go on, I should hopefully improve how everything looks and whatnot. But yeah, I was fairly happy with what we found out this one. We're at a good gold amount at the moment, and if everything was to sell, we would probably be sitting at quite a few hundred gold. I think the transmog item I got was, according to Trade Skill Master, it was meant to sell for around 700. I doubt it will sell anytime soon, but who knows, we might get lucky. But yeah, so that's where we're at for this video, and the next video we'll probably cover another topic. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. Once again, like I said at the start, thanks for all the views on the previous one. If you guys like this one, leaving a like is always a nice way to show it. If you have any feedback or anything, feel free to drop that in the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone in the next one.